Man, what's up? What's happening, everybody? If it's your first time tuning in, this is your boy nephew Q behind the game, and I got my guy over here to my right, y'all left. However, y'all viewing this thing, got my guy Ralph C. Gonna introduce yourself, my guy.
What's up, world? I appreciate you having greatness behind you, though. I mean,
well, you know, we didn't have a
talk. Are we gonna have go talk today?
I'm not gonna do it, but
I'm just asking.
We didn't have a show last week, and you know, last week was MJ's birthday, so this is just my little nod to him. You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday, one of the legends of the game, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
The GOAT.
Happy belated birthday to Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Absolutely, man.
North Carolina alum, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, North Carolina player of all time. But anyways, enough talking about that guy. Let's get on into some of the proceedings of last week and this week. Ralph, there was a huge game. There was a huge game that took place the other day, man. It involved two teams that could potentially be an NBA Finals matchup. The last time these two teams played each other, it was a great ball game. But last night's game was mirrored in a controversial call at the end of the game, as you can see in this clip right here.
Batum called the best passer for the Clippers. Leonard drives, goes inside, lays it up, and an offensive foul is called.
And they don't have a challenge yet left because they took their challenge on the Beverly screen.
Kawhi Leonard unaware, asking them to challenge, unaware that they don't have the challenge.
Yep. No. Nope.
Now, that what happened last night. The score was 110 to 108 with I think like 9 seconds to go when the refs called an offensive foul against Kawhi Leonard. They say he pushed off with his offhand. The question is, did the refs cause the Clippers the game last night versus the Nets? I'm gonna say no. Only from this standpoint is that let's say they didn't call it. They let the play go. There was a no call for Kawhi. The score was tied 110 to 110. You still got James Harden and Kyrie on the other side. So there's not a guarantee that they wouldn't have missed the game-winning shot. There's no guarantee they would have hit the game-winning shot either. But I'm not going to sit here and say that call was a call that cost them the game. I feel like they should have just let it go. It was a bang-bang for real. And I know you probably got a lot to say about the guy who's on the defensive side of the ball. But to me, I don't think it cost the Clippers the game yesterday because the Nets still had the opportunity to possibly go win it if Kawhi hit this shot. But Ralph, what's your thoughts, man?
First and foremost, let's give a shout out to the Clippers for coming back in that game.
If
you watched that game, the Clippers were down the entire game. They were down big in that game. So shout out to the Clippers for at least coming back and get to the point where they could tie the game up. But what we have to say, what I will say is, the way you put the question, no, of course the refs didn't cause the Clippers a game. They had 4 quarters to win the game. But the call against Kawhi, offensive charge, it was not a charge. James Harden initiated the contact first. He put his forearm on Kawhi first. Kawhi did put his forearm on James, but I don't think it caused James to fall back the way that he fell back. One of the biggest actors we have in the game today is James Harden. The tape don't lie, so you can go back and run the tape for anybody who's a James Harden fan. But of course, the refs didn't call him the game, but that foul was a terrible foul to call at that position and at that point in the game.
Reginald Brown said, "Take that, we gold powder blue BS off." Reginald, I would love to know who's your college squad, because my squad has beaten Duke, Louisville, and UK, but that's neither here nor there at this point, man.
What's that mean?
Oh no, just out of the blue bloods, we just reign supreme right now. But anyways, yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel, and that's why I said I feel like it should have been a no call, because it was pretty much bang bang. I mean, to me, I don't think Kawhi extended his forearm enough for them to make that call. But like you said, James Harden act like he just got shot with a 12 gauge. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. I get it. That's the way the NBA right now. Like I get it. You gotta sell it to get the call to potentially have stuff like that. But at the same time, the refs, you got to swallow your whistle, and unless it's just like blatant and obvious, like he extended his whole forearm and like pushed him all the way out, you got to let that go. And then on top of that, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and they was in LA.
Oh well, yeah, that too.
I didn't think they would make that call in LA, man. But
yeah. Speaking of Reginald Brown, he said the team y'all just beat the dog stuff out of. Reginald, I got Jordan behind me. When Jordan came back from retirement, what was his number? It was 4 or 5, right? Okay, all right.
Oh man.
Yeah, to your point, Ralph, they should have got some home cooking on that as well. Like you said, that they was at home. I guess Kawhi just ain't getting the respect like another guy in LA gets. He gets that call, but that's there right now. Yeah. But yeah, so the Clippers, actually, I seen somebody had posted in the Beyond the Game group chat. I can't remember who it was, but they said that the Nets swept the Pacific Division.
They did
without KD for the last 4 games.
They did.
That's a
they
big
5-0 on the Western Conference. I think the last 5 games that they played Western Conference teams, they 5-0.
Yeah, that's what I said. They swept this Pacific Division. So shout out to the Nets. They got things rolling right now, and especially without KD. Man, this I don't know, your Brooklyn Nets, boy. Your Brooklyn Nets. But anyway. So move the proceedings on real quick, man. Let's talk about your favorite guy, Carson Bartholomew Wentz.
Is that his middle name?
Man, it's his middle name for tonight's show. Carson Bartholomew Wentz it was the worst kept secret in the NFL that Carson Wentz was going to get traded. He eventually got traded to the Indianapolis Colts. And also Matthew Stafford got traded to the Los Angeles Rams a couple of weeks ago. So the question remains, who will have more success next season, Carson Bartholomew Wentz or Matthew Aloysius Stafford? Ralph, who you got?
For me, it's easy. I have to go with Matthew Stafford. Couple things. I feel like Matthew Stafford is the better of the 2 quarterbacks, and I feel like Matthew Stafford is going into a better situation with the Rams than Wentz is going in with the Colts. Not saying the Colts are a bad team. I just do feel like the Rams are a better team. Better defensively, better offensively. So I would have to go with Matthew Stafford. And with his talent, I feel like the Rams were a quarterback away this year from possibly making it to the Super Bowl. So I feel like it has to be Matthew Stafford, in my opinion.
So basically you're saying the Rams didn't have a quarterback last season.
They haven't had a quarterback for a couple seasons. I'm not a fan of Goff. Goff is a decent quarterback. Sorry, Daniel, but I'm not a fan of Goff at all.
Goff is an all right guy. Goff is an average quarterback at best. But man, put Carson Wentz in that. I don't know, man. The Indianapolis Colts offense with Carson Wentz is be the same as with Phillip Rivers. Carson Wentz doesn't put them over the edge or over the top. In the AFC South, yeah, maybe they win that division again with Carson Wentz. But does he make them a title contender?
No.
Hell no. Does he make them a AFC contender? No, he doesn't even do that. So to me, it's Matthew Stafford. He's put up not consecutive. He put up a couple 5,000-yard passing yard season. Carson Wentz can barely pass for over 3,000 yards. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Matthew Stafford in this one, because Matthew Stafford will be with Sean McVay, which I know Carson Wentz will be with Frank White, which he's familiar with as well. But at the same time, I believe that Sean McVay will open up his playbook and allow Matthew Stafford to push the ball down the field in ways Jared Goff couldn't. And if Matthew Stafford played for the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl, Sean McVay would have a Super Bowl ring right now.
I think we both agree on that one.
He would have a Super Bowl ring because it was a defensive game in the Super Bowl versus the Patriots. All they needed was a quarterback who could at least get you 14. That's it. Defense do the rest.
That's it.
But Jared Goff played for the defense at the same time, so it is what it is.
It is what it is with him.
He said Coach Chuck said he's more mobile. Who's more mobile, Carson Wentz or Matthew Stafford?
He has to be talking about Wentz.
He's more mobile, but I guess you could say it's a watch as far as injuries. I mean, the only thing is that Carson Wentz, when he gets injured for a large period of time. Like he's out, he's done. Matthew Stafford has shown a propensity to play with major injuries, so he's willing to battle and fight through. Carson Wentz, a lot of his teammates' issues were that they felt like he was too frail mentally and physically. Yeah. So give me Matthew Stafford, man. Give me
Wentz just hasn't done. What has Wentz done for me lately?
That's another thing. What has Wentz done in this league for people to be so high?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
To make them seem like, you know what? If we get Carson Wentz, fam, we going to the AFC Championship game. Like, bro, that still ain't the case. You still got to go through KC. You still got to go through Baltimore. There's a couple more teams at Buffalo. Like,
absolutely.
Carson Wentz is not beating those teams. Those three right there.
Ravens. And the Colts defense played really good this year. So I don't know if the Colts defense will hold up and play that well next season. I mean, that's still we shall see, but I don't know.
And Williams Sweaty says Stafford, he's more durable, and I trust him more. I trust him more, only because I feel like Matthew Stafford was playing in the offense. He had Jim Caldwell at first, and then he had I forgot, Matt Patricia. So he really wasn't with like Jim Caldwell was great, but I don't think he was like the offensive guru that Sean McVay is. No. And Matthew Stafford was still able to put up 5,000-yard season. So, man, give me Matthew Stafford on this one. Let's see. Coach Truck, he said Rams Buck NFC title game next season. He's already calling it. And he said Wentz versus Rivers in Indy. Rivers retired, but like I said, Coach, Wentz is the same as Phillip Rivers. I mean,
just because Rivers is about done, and I think Wentz can at least throw the ball down the field.
As Carson Wentz had to work with. He's had about as much to work with as Matthew Stafford had to work with, but yet he still passed for more yards. So there's the answer.
Oh my God, Eagles fans! I tell you,
y'all have got to get off of this Carson Wentz.
I know, I don't get it.
Rodgers, Russell Wilson type of guy. Like, no, I
don't get it.
Carson Wentz is down there with Jameis Winston. I said it.
Hey, Sean, let it go, man. He's gone.
He let it go. Now, he made a post. He was about to cry.
Oh, yeah, he was in his feelings a week ago.
Welcome, B Legend, to the show. What's good, B?
What's up, Legend?
What's happening? What's going on?
Man, we just sitting here discussing Carson Wentz and Matthew Stafford. Who would have the more successful season next season?
Oh, well, clearly Matthew Stafford. I mean, you know what though? I don't know, man. I mean, if you really want to look at it big picture wise, if you go back to when Carson Wentz has been successful, it's been when he was under Frank Reich, right? And
point up, yeah,
right. So that's number one. Also, let's take into consideration that
he is William.
Also, let's take into consideration what's going to help Carson Wentz a lot is their run game, but also Indy's defense. That's going to help him a lot because it's going to put him in good situations, good field positions to capitalize. When he was in Philly, last couple of years, well, at least the last year, I don't know about, the year before that. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they were pretty good defensively. So that helped him out. He did pretty well before he got hurt. But the last year and a half, I mean, they've been trashed defensively. I mean, they couldn't do anything. So he's always getting put in bad situations. So, it will be interesting to see. But if you just had to make a pick today, I mean, logically, Matthew Stafford is set up to succeed with the Rams. He's got a great defense. He's got, plenty of weapons with the Rams. He's got a decent run game that's going to get better. So it's a wait and see approach. But if I had to pick somebody today, it would be Matthew Stafford.
We were just talking about what's the hype over Carson Wentz that has people elevating him to a status to where if we get Carson Wentz, man, we got a shot. Like, what is it with, in your opinion, what do you think it is with Carson Wentz that has people thinking that he is that guy?
I think purely just his potential. He's got a huge upside. I mean, if they could bring that out of him, I mean, dude, this guy's got a cannon. I mean, this guy, can play. When he was in North Dakota State, I mean, he took them to, I think it was, I want to say either 3 or 4, divisional championship games, and I can't remember if they won them all or not. I mean, let's not get it misunderstood. I mean, the guy can play football. Now, do I think that his confidence is gone? Absolutely. I think getting back with Frank Wright, I think that's going to help him. I think it's going to help his mental psyche. But I think he's got a huge upside. Now, the rest is up to him. It's what he wants to do or what he can do and how he's going to develop himself. But I just think he's got a huge upside. And I think most NFL execs know that. They know that. I think the Philly situation had just got so toxic. I think he was mentally, done. And Q, I just want to take time to say, hey man, I appreciate that background back there. That's that. I mean, hey man, you making progress, bro. You making progress. I got to give you props. Yes, and you even got the number on. What, Ralph? You see this?
I had to say something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all something else right there. Well, y'all are something else. I told Ralph before the show the reason why I catch this is because we didn't have a show last week and it was MJ's birthday. So this is just my little nod to MJ. You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday to one of the legends of the game.
You couldn't say it, huh? You just can't do it, huh?
I can't do it.
You can't do it.
And Sean said, I'm feeling my feelings.
Let it go, Sean. Let it go.
Oh man, but yeah, so I pay homage when homage is due, man. You know what I'm saying? One of the legends, one of the GOATs of the game. I say this for you, B. Jordan was the GOAT of his era. How about that?
Talk about it. At least you can say that.
I take that.
Okay. Okay, Jordan. This is my way of showing respect to one of the GOATs, the GOAT of his era.
I take that. I mean, that's at least you acknowledging that he's a GOAT or one of the GOATs, or however you want to look at it. Whatever makes you feel better. I mean, we all got our opinions.
I mean, you still got A-Rod and Pat Mahomes as GOAT.
Oh, ain't no question.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no question. It don't change. It don't change. I mean, like I told you today on the post, I mean, everything looked good other than that number 2 spot. We just had to move. We had to drop the Bucks down and move Green Bay up, and then we would have been perfect. Everything would have been good.
For those who don't know what he's talking about, somebody had posted a way too early top 30.
I know, way too early.
And they had Chiefs 1, Bucks 2, Packers 3. Don't know why when my squad took care of all of that. So I mean, I don't understand.
But you want me to tell you why though? And let's not deviate from the show. I do want to get. I just want to give this quick thing. I think, in all seriousness, I think the reason why the Bucks are not ranked number 1 is because there's so much uncertainty with their roster right now. They don't know who's going to come. They don't know who's going to come back. They don't know. You got a lot of free agents on there, so I think that's why.
That's fair.
Not ranked number 1.
No, that's fair because we got Shaq, got to resign him. Sue got to resign him. Chris Godwin got to resign him. So
I think if Godwin had to go, I would let Godwin go.
Well, it's him and Shaq Barrett. One of those two are gonna get the franchise.
You gotta let Godwin go.
You gotta keep
Shaq Barrett. You gotta keep
unless you have.
I heard the Colts like him.
Who?
They're trying to reach out.
Who?
The Colts.
Like
who?
Chris Godwin.
Oh yeah, okay.
I believe that.
I heard the Patriots like him. I heard the Patriots was reaching out.
Well, Chris Godwin, if he's a smart man, and I don't know what the numbers are, I would rather go to Colts than the Patriots because at least the Colts have a quarterback.
Of course.
The Patriots, they better off letting one of us play quarterback at this. But hold on, let me get to some of these comments before I let you cook on this conversation. Sean Gary said, "With Carson Wentz, oh boy, me more than anything is confidence. You can have all the confidence in the world, but if you can't throw the ball, that don't mean nothing. I mean,
walk it to him.
Jameis Winston had confidence, and he was 30 for 30. Let's see, David Reed. He said the coach think if they bring Carson in with the coach he had for that one good season, he will bring Wentz back to being great. That's David Reese. Real quick, David. First and foremost, Carson Wentz was never great.
Let's get that out the door.
he was having a MVP caliber season. Yes,
Absolutely.
that is true.
That's
but
true.
Was he great?
For 11 weeks.
I can't get that, man.
Right,
But anyways, Daniel, man, the conversation is who will have more success next season, Carson Wentz or Matthew Stafford? Go.
I hate to sound biased, but it'd be Matthew Stafford. And the only reason why I'm saying that is based off what I've seen in Indianapolis, and then based off what I've seen with Sean McVay with Jared Goff. Jared Goff was like B- quarterback, C+, B-, depending on the day.
Yeah,
I mean, I give Matthew Stafford at least I give Matthew Stafford at least a B+ quarterback. He's at times when he did have Megatron, and even a little after, he was maybe like an A- quarterback, but I give him like a B+. He's not as mobile as I want him to be, but he's about as mobile as Jared Goff, and he's a better passer. So for me, it's definitely going to be Matthew Stafford with the way the offense is designed. Also, Sean McVay can open up the playbook a little bit more now that he has Matthew Stafford, because he knows Matthew Stafford can make all the throws. Jared Goff can make the throws, but he read the field kind of slow. That was the problem with him. He didn't really make his reads quick enough.
No, I mean, we all pretty much said the same thing as far as Matthew Stafford. We feel like he's the better player between the two, and like you alluded to, Matthew Stafford had, Jim Caldwell and Matt Patricia, and was still throwing for 5,000 yards. So imagine what he's going to do when he gets with an offensive guru like Sean McVay, and like you said, who can open up the playbook for him because he can make every single throw. So now, y'all got a quarterback now, so y'all might be in the money. And like I told Ralph before you came on here, if y'all had Matthew Stafford then, y'all would have probably won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
because he definitely wouldn't miss Brandon Cooks like Goff did.
Hey, Q, are y'all gonna draft the quarterback? Y'all need one.
We do need one.
I need a quarterback. See, you think I'm being funny?
I'm serious, because Tom Brady has one, maybe 2 years left. So in that time frame, you need to draft a young guy that can come in and learn underneath Tom Brady while you got him there. And so, no, I agree with you, but we can't do a high draft. Like he has to be like 4th, maybe 5th round. We can't waste a 1 through 3 pick on a quarterback because.
But why?
Because let's
get a receiver or something.
I mean, think about. I mean, you fully loaded defensively. You got weapons offensively.
You can never have too much. You can never have too much now.
But I'm just saying, it gives you an opportunity to draft a higher quarterback and develop him, right?
But this is the thing. So what if we lose Sue? So we need to replace that, don't we?
I mean, don't you think you pick one up as a free agent?
It just all depends on who's available. And then, of course, we got Levante David, who's going to be a free agent. No telling if he's going to come back or not.
I guess I just look at it like going back to the, like the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation, right? You draft a guy like that, he got to sit there, 3-4 years or, one of those other situations. But regardless of the arrogance between those two individuals, Aaron Rodgers learned from Brett Favre, whether he wants to acknowledge that or not. He learned from Brett Favre. So that's why I just bring that up.
No, okay, I'll break it down to you like this. We'll have the 31st or the 32nd pick. If the best available player is a quarterback, I wouldn't mind them taking him. But if he's not the best available, then you go ahead and draft what your team needs.
Yeah.
But we talked about this a little bit earlier before you guys came on. And Ralph, he had a lot to say about your guy James Harden, Daniel. So I'm gonna replay. I'm gonna replay this clip from earlier. Did the rest of the Clippers the game? I'm gonna play this clip real quick for y'all. Look at me.
June Paul, the best passer for the Clippers. Leonard drives, goes inside, lays it up, and an offensive foul is called.
And they don't have a challenge yet left because they took their challenge on the Beverly screen.
Kawhi Leonard unawares, asking them to challenge, unaware that they don't have the challenge.
No. Nope.
So Daniel, that's your guy. So I'm gonna let you cook last on this. Be legend. Did the refs cause the Clippers the game last night?
Absolutely. Now, hold on. Let's be fair. I'm not going to say that they caused, and let me retract this thing. I'm not going to say they caused in the game because that's not necessarily true because the game is 4 quarters.
Okay.
And if you watch that game, Brooklyn was cooking all 4 quarters. All right. So I'm not going to say that. What I will say is this. If you paid attention to that game, what you tend to notice is that as it continued down, as you got later into the game, Kawhi and Paul George just walked them down. They just walked them down. Game got tight. In that situation, we could always say, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whatever it is, we can always say, you don't make that call, at that time of the game. You don't make that call. Now, do I think, and do majority of the people here think that was an offensive foul? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what it showed me was this. I had this conversation earlier today. Look, Brooklyn has firepower.
There you go.
Brooklyn has straight firepower. And they're going to have firepower, and they're going to be, them 3 dudes are pretty much going to be able to put up 70, 75 points a game.
Easy.
All right. The problem that they're going to have, regardless of what the situation is, are they going to be able to, because the game's going to slow down eventually, especially when you get to the playoffs. The game's going to slow down. And so when these teams start walking them down, they better keep going at a high clip, because defensively they can't guard nobody. So it's either you gonna go out there and all 3 of y'all gonna score 40 apiece, or it's gonna be a potential situation. I think that right now, they're gonna blow people out. But when playoffs start, I still think it's a Lakers. Brooklyn final, because I don't think that the only team that can deal with Brooklyn, in the East is Philly. And that's just because they got Joel and they got Ben.
Yep.
And that's
Tobias is playing really good this season.
And regardless of what the situation is, they got as much firepower as they want. That's going to be a problem for them, unless they can shore up something in the buyout market or in the trade market to get somebody that can help them. That's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah.
And then you look at look at the Lakers and they say, AD's hurt. They looking at. If you watch the Lakers, man, the Lakers just coast through all the games that they play until like the 4th quarter, and then all of a sudden they'll go. Now, that don't mean they're gonna win, but they just go and then they turn it on and they just walk you down. They just analyze this team. Do I think Brooklyn's gonna beat LA again? Yeah, I do. I think they're gonna beat them when they go to Brooklyn. Absolutely,
That show is.
I think they will. But when it comes to them 7 games, ain't gonna happen.
What you say to Andrew's comment? He says you can scheme Simmons out of a series offensively. They're not keeping up with Brooklyn for 7. What'd you say to that, B?
They're not.
It's gonna be tough, man, because them boys can put them boys are scoring machines. And again, but the problem is they have nobody to match up against Embiid. Embiid has to dominate that series. He has to.
Absolutely.
If that dude goes out and drops 40 a game, they're gonna have a problem. Yeah. But again, KD and them boys put up numbers. So it's But I always, and I'm gonna end on this. And I said this when the trade first happened. I still believe this. Kyrie Irving is the wild card, because right now they are playing phenomenal. But KD come back. Come on, man. That's a lot of balls out there, man.
It is, man.
That's a lot of balls. James Harden's playing phenomenal. He's playing within himself. He's distributing the ball. He's getting triple doubles. He's getting double doubles. He's getting double digit assists. I mean, he's doing what he's got to do. So he ain't got no problem passing the ball. But Kyrie is Kyrie. And Kyrie, he didn't like, and they made this point. I was watching, what was I watching? Not First Take. I was watching Undisputed. And they made this point. Chris Bouchard made this point, which is Kyrie had an issue with being second fiddle to LeBron. Well, on this team, who's the number 1 dog?
KD.
Who's the number 2 dog?
James Harden.
So that makes him number 3.
Yep. What's going to hurt him is going to be in the playoff games. That's what's going to hurt him. Who's going to shoot the ball in the crucial moments? Who's going to shoot it?
But see, to be fair though, although Kyrie is third offensively, I still feel like he's second though, if that makes sense. Because
maybe they allow him to be second, but
no. I don't think it's they allow him. I think James Harden is like, okay, I can get mine when I get mine.
True.
Let's let Kyrie do what Kyrie do, and then I can get mine when I get mine because let's keep it all the way a buck. James Harden is one of the most offensively gifted players we've ever seen, and really nobody can really quote unquote stop him, right?
Sure.
So James Harden can get his points, whether it be from the three and most notably the free throw line. So James Harden get you 15 just at the free throw line by itself, and then he can chip in, 20 points. So I don't think James Harden is really worried about scoring. So I feel like it's KD, James Harden, and Kyrie, but offensively it's KD, Kyrie, and then James Harden. But anyways, Daniel, did the refs cost the Clippers the game last night?
I'm gonna be legendist on my take this time because I got a lot to say. But I mean, you don't make that call because, and this is the reason why. To me, you could call a foul on James Harden. Would he be shooting? No, it would have been an out of bounds play. They would have inbounded the ball, but at the same time, it was an offensive on Kawhi Leonard. So for me, no call because I just think. Basketball is a contact sport anyway. If he's not grabbing them, he put his arm out. They both put their arms out, but they didn't push off. They didn't impede progress. So I think it's a no call. The thing
that's the shooting foul, though, Daniel. That's a shooting foul because he was in the act of shooting.
So he wasn't shooting yet. He wasn't shooting.
He was in the act of. He was driving to.
He wasn't shooting yet. Oh. They would have called that on the floor, similar to what they did with Paul George, but because Paul George had a call just like that, and they said he wasn't shooting. But that's neither here nor there. My thing is, Kyrie Irving and James got to figure each other out while KD was out. What's a scary thing for Brooklyn because now they can win against the top teams without Kevin Durant. You can plug Kevin Durant in with any team, similar to the Warriors. They were already they could win, and then you plug Kevin Durant in. He can fit in anywhere because he's not ball dominant and he can score everywhere on the floor. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's scary for the rest of the league because when you add 28 points a game into what they did, you also got to remember last night Joe Harris struggled. They were up by 18 points and Joe Harris didn't even play good and KD didn't play. So that's why I would not worry about these close games and that's why I wouldn't worry about the defense because I think James Harden kind of gets Kyrie, like you said, similar to what you said. Like he can get 25 whenever. He could score. I mean, you see, he had 16 points in the first 8 minutes. And then he could just defer to Kyrie Irving and just get everybody else involved, and then he can chip in another 10 points in the last quarter. So I think that another thing that I saw, because people always get mad when I compare James Harden to LeBron before the rings. Because I say LeBron is athletic, but I say as far as all-around game, James Harden reminds me of LeBron as far as everything that he can do. He's just a little smaller. So they brought up a stat yesterday. LeBron has 78, and LeBron's been in the league longer. We know that. LeBron has 78 35-point double-double. James Harden already has 77. This is his first time being in a situation where he's on a super team. So like I told the Gransbury, we'll see what happens. But I still compare what he does. I mean, he's a better scorer, of course, but I still compare what he does all around to LeBron. And as far as the Sixers go, like Drew said, you can phase Ben Simmons out of a game what you can because he won't shoot. He has been shooting a little bit of threes, but he can't shoot. So my point is, similar to last year in the playoffs, Embiid can average 35 but then when you phase Ben Simmons out of the game plan, who else do you rely on? Steph Curry? Because that's what you're going to have to rely on. You believe in Steph Curry and Embiid.
Tobias.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Tobias.
That just doesn't even. I forgot about Tobias. I'm thinking Steph Curry because he's shooting 50% from three, and he was averaging about 18 points. Yeah. Tobias, he don't show up in the playoffs to me, no matter what team he plays for. So that's why I forget about him.
All right. Well, I know, Chuck, you got a jet, man. I appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time because I know you're a businessman. I know you're a businessman, So appreciate you stopping by, even though you still on some old A-Rod, Pat Mahomes BS.
My guys are going. Hey, my sons are always going to be number one with me. No
This
matter.
guy.
Wall Street over there, man. That's the Black Wolf of Wall Street.
Hey, they could lose. Hey, they could lose every game. I'm still gonna say they're gonna win every game. Kind of sound like you, Q.
Man, we're not doing this today. We ain't doing this today. It's a good Monday. I'm out here celebrating MJ. You know what I'm saying? Y'all still take it. Y'all won't let me live, bro. Y'all won't let me live.
I mean that's. Hold on, let me take a picture.
That means a lot, though. That means a lot.
Hold on, let me take a picture.
Hey, Charles, I felt like you last night, Charles. Hey, I was watching all my sons. I said I felt like you last night. I turned the game on. I was watching all my sons play at the same time. Paul George, Kyrie Irving, Jordan. They all was killing. Damn, I feel like Charles today.
Hey, D, guess what? I respect that. It makes sense to me. Them your guys. You ain't got no team. You just root for your guys. Just like Q. Q root for LeBron. Whatever LeBron
showing off today.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I
thought he was plotting something.
I don't know if you lost the bet.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, I ain't lose no bet. This is just me giving my nod to the legend, man. That's all. Michael Jordan.
Just call him a GOAT. Do us right. Call him a GOAT.
He said, "Do us right." So, B, we appreciate you coming back.
I'll talk to y'all, man.
Oh man, y'all wildin', man. I can't do nothing right. But anyways, let's switch it back to a little bit of NFL action. JJ Watt just got released. Well, not just got released, but he got released from the Houston Texans last week, which made news all around the NFL community. So the question remains: where should JJ Watt sign? I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off because y'all already know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like Suge Knight. Hey, you want to win? Come to Tampa Bay. We got a spot for you right now. But don't even worry about it. So for me, that's just my biased opinion. Where should JJ Watt go? I think he should go Tampa Bay. But unbiased opinion, I can see him going to the Packers or Pittsburgh Steelers if it's not Tampa Bay. But Daniel, where do you think he should sign?
The obvious would be playing with his brother in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't mind having him in LA, but honestly, if I had to choose between a better wide receiver, like a number one, like Kenny Golladay or Chris Godwin, I'd pick that. So for me, depends on what his goals are. Do you want to play with your brother or do you want to win a ring? If I want to win a ring, I'm going to go sign with the Chiefs, the Bucks. I mean, the Rams, but they have them on that early prediction list, like fourth, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is we're trying to save money. We ain't trying to spend money unless it's on somebody on offense, probably. So I think he should probably go. I would go to the Chiefs, honestly. That's where I would go. Y'all got Sue. Y'all got B-Bay.
Well, we kind of in the same boat though. Like I was telling B earlier, you know, we got Levante David, whose contract is up, Sue's contract up, and Shaq Barrett's contract up. Now, out of those three, I don't think all of them are coming back. One of them is leaving. I don't know which one, but I know one of them is leaving, which I can't blame him. You know, Levante David, I think he'll come back just because he's spent his whole career there. I feel like he'll take a team discount, come back. Shaq Barrett, he was an undrafted rookie. He was on a franchise tag last season. He's trying to get his money. Sue is the wild card. So Sue is like, well, I got my ring. I'm still quote unquote young enough to get a substantial payday. So let me go get this last money grab real quick. So so that's why I think JJ Watt could come into play for us. But Ralph, man, what do you think JJ Watt should sign?
I mean, I think at this point in his career, I mean, he doesn't have much left in the bag. So it has to be a playoff Super Bowl contender. So I think y'all said the teams, the Rams, the Buccaneers. I wouldn't mind seeing them in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's nice to play with your brother, but I don't want to see him go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is going nowhere fast. So I don't want to see him go to Pittsburgh. So it has to be a playoff team. So I would say Bucks, Chiefs, Rams, Seattle.
But Daniel, let me ask you this real quick, man. Do you think if he goes to a contender and they already have an edge, do you think JJ would be okay with being a situational pass rusher? Or do you think he wants to start?
I honestly think he could do the Terrell Suggs and be situational or like Jason Taylor. But I honestly think you could probably move him to D tackle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I honestly think you could. He's a big guy. I like a speed. He's more of like a power rusher, similar to Aaron Donald. But honestly, I saw somebody mention the Chiefs. I mean, not the Chiefs, but the Packers. The Packers could get him, but if the Packers get him, they probably won't be able to pay Jair Alexander, so they probably won't make that move. But the Chiefs makes me because the Chiefs really can't get consistent pressure without blitzing. He would help them be able to get pressure with just a 4-down line. So,
yeah, no, that does make sense. Who's this? David Reese said, "Coach, they need a pass rusher off the edge. He would fit in good in that defense. Plus, we have the cap space to pay him. You know, Coach wouldn't be a bad spot for him. But
I just don't have faith in the Colts. That's why I didn't say the Colts. They got
but
Carson Wentz at quarterback.
It makes sense, but I just don't see a Colts.
The Colts are cheap.
It's not even that D. I just don't see them as a title contender.
Exactly. That's what I said. He's wasting his time.
So then, like Daniel said earlier, it becomes okay. Do I want to win? Do I want to get money, or do I want to play with my brother? What do I want to do? I've quote unquote wasted all of my prime years in Houston doing nowhere fast.
Absolutely.
He got his money, so not to count his pockets, but he got his money, so it's not like he's hurting, so to speak. So it's like, okay, do I want to try to ring chase at this point? I think he should, but you never know what's in a man's heart. But I don't know. But anyways, Ralph's favorite player, Draymond Green, made some controversial statements over the past week, saying the NBA has a double standard in how they handle the trading of players, most notably Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. They had the players set out and not dressed for, I think, the past 2 weeks, or at least a week, while they try to find a trade partner for the respective players. And Draymond Green said, but when the players come out and voice for a trade, everybody has a problem with that. So, Ralph, I'll let you cook on this first, man. What was your thoughts about Draymond Green's comments about double standard in the NBA?
I think it's one of them situations where it goes both ways. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. And I feel like it is a double standard. I mean, the owners are able to do whatever they want. They can trade you whenever they want. We've heard stories of players being sitting on the bench and hearing that they're being traded, or players being out for lunch and hearing that they're being traded without, being communicated with. So there definitely is a double standard. But you have to look at it as also in a business sense that these players are assets. Do they want Blake Griffin to get hurt? Do they want Andre Drummond to get hurt and not be tradable? They don't. And that's partly why they're going to sit them out and keep them as high as value. And then once they get traded, whatever happens, happens. So I look at it, it's a business. That's the way that it's going to be. And that's just how it is. But it definitely is a double standard.
But see, I feel the same way. But before I let Daniel cook on this, but this is what the part that nobody has thought about. So they set the two players out while they try to work out a trade. But what if they can never find a trade partner? Then what? What have you done? Then you got to buy him out or what? So let's say I think the NBA trade deadline is March 6th or something like that. So if they can't find a trade partner between now and the trade deadline, then what? You've done all that for what? Because now you got to keep them or you've got to buy them out. So why not? Go ahead, Ralph.
I mean, I was just gonna say it's their loss at the end. I mean, if they're not able to trade the player, but at the same time, they're keeping that trade asset as valuable as possible until something does happen. And obviously, the Pistons aren't going anywhere. So, I mean, Blake Griffin's not really losing. I mean, he's not doing nothing but getting rest. So, I mean, the Cavaliers aren't going anywhere. Andre Drummond's not doing anything but chilling, getting rest. So, who's really losing the situation except the owners and the Cavaliers are the Detroit Pistons? So.
To me, it's stupid because, Daniel, if I know you got to get rid of them, why the hell am I going to offer you a lot for them? I know you got to get rid of them. I know you don't want them.
That's the issue now.
So why should I give you the house for a guy that I know you don't even want? So now he's just sitting there because a lot of teams are like, bro, I'm not giving you a lot for this guy. You don't even want him your damn self. Like, why am I going to give you a lot for him? Like,
this is not the Blake Griffin of 5 years ago, man.
Yeah, it's like it makes no sense. So you either take these second rounders and these couple of role players are going back today, or you just going to have to release them and you're going to have to take that L. But anyways, Daniel, what's your thoughts on Draymond Green's comments?
I mean, like you said, he's 100% right. It is a double standard. I think that the reason it is a double standard is because the players are more in the media and the limelight. You don't really see a lot of interviews. I mean, every now and then you might see a GM or an owner get interviewed, but it's rare. And 9 out of 10, if you see a owner get interviewed, it's usually Mark Cuban, and he's been chill for the last 6 years or so. So I mean, that's part of the reason why it's a double standard, but. I was looking at a lot of comments when the news broke, and people were talking about people need to understand the owner or the way the business works. You're a worker and they're the owner. But I'm like, when employees go on strike, the owners and the GMs and the managers don't just come and pick up production. That hurts the business. So you should treat players like they're important instead of just acting like they nobody. Because like he mentioned, James Harden got ridiculed. Don't get me wrong, James Harden showed up out of shape, but I mean, if he knows his body, if he can show up 20 pounds overweight or 25, however many, and still drop 37 and 17, then like he said, you can make all this trade, you can play all these players that ain't even superstar caliber players and only win 20 games, and you don't have to get interviewed for this and wondering why you made all these pointless moves. So I mean, I agree with him. As far as the Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond thing, I think that they're still serviceable players. I just think their contract is just so much money, and the teams they play for are so terrible that it's not worth wasting the money on them. Like somebody like the Lakers or somebody, they would be good. It's just I'm not gonna play Blake Griffin $35 million a year to only win 30 games. You know what I mean? That just don't make sense.
Now, I'm right there with y'all, and David Reese, he says they are sitting here collecting a check, just waiting to see what happens. So it's more the owner's loss at the end. So and that's what I was saying. Like, to me, I don't know. I ain't no billionaire. I ain't even millionaire. I ain't a thousandaire. I ain't even 100-aire. But to me, it just doesn't make financial sense for me to sit a guy down that I got to trade, and they know I don't want him. So why are they going to give me a lot for him? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then, like you brought up the Harden point. At least Harden played, so he, even though he was out of shape, he was like, "Hold on, bro, but I can still get these buckets though. Like, don't get it twisted." So I get it, there's an injury factor that plays into it, but if Andre Drummond is still out there and he's leading the league in rebounds, a team is going to look at that and be like, "Damn, we really do need that. We really do need that." And he might. And if I'm the Cavs, I'm playing cat and mouse, so now I'm gonna start playing him a little bit more to make it seem like we need him now. So now you're going to have to come up at your pocket because we might actually keep him now. I don't know. So now you got to prove to me that you need him because I'm showing you I need him right now. So I feel like Andrew said, they drove down their own value by keeping these guys on the bench. But like Daniel said, Blake Griffin is making $33 million and averaging 12 and 5. Bro, I'm not giving you nothing for that.
That's what I said. I don't even think Blake got it anymore.
Like, I don't know. I'm not giving you I'm not trading all of my young assets and some draft picks for a over the hill Blake Griffin's averaging 12 and 5. Come on, bro.
And Drummond's never been that guy. So,
okay. And Andrew said Brooklyn just waiting for them to release one of them. Hey, Andrew, to be fair, all the contenders are waiting for them to get released. That's why they ain't get trade partners.
Absolutely.
That's why the Clippers ain't giving up nothing. That's why, the Lakers aren't giving up nothing. The Nets really don't have much to give up, but they're just sitting back waiting. 76ers ain't giving up nothing. The Celtics ain't giving up nothing because I know you just going to have to release them at the end of the day anyway. So I just wait and take my chances and then, pick up the chips as they fall. What do you say? David said, yeah, but who's to say they trade the player from sitting the first game and they get hurt? That's true, too. If they trade them and they get hurt. Andrew said Blake going to get traded for a 2040 second round pick. That sounds about right. That sounds
you see,
right.
Philly trying to play hardball and talking about we want 2 first-round picks for Carson Wentz. And do y'all see what the coach gave them for Carson Wentz? A little bit of nothing. A little bit of nothing. If Wentz don't win,
like
those trades are get worse and worse.
Like the dream value goes down. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Daniel.
I was saying, just like I told Drew, the thing that hurt Carson Wentz too was that not only was his play poor, but his own teammates was bashing him. So it made him seem like he wasn't that good in the locker room. So then teams are not going to I'm not giving up no first rounds for some. I mean, they were basically saying he was a bitch. So it's just like, Like even with the whole, even with the Hurts thing, it's like, oh, now I got a guy that can compete with me. Let me just get out of here instead of compete. You know what I mean? Like if you compete and you lose the job, ask for a trade, but you don't even want to compete. You just want to get out of there. Like I just think teams weren't willing to give up more than a second or third round pick for him.
Right. As they should.
I was gonna say, and like you said, Daniel, I know y'all really don't want them. So why am I gonna give y'all these first round picks? Like that just blows my mind.
Good as it's gonna get.
That blows my mind. Like it's one thing to trade a player because he wants out, or you trade a player because you're trying to rebuild. That's one thing. But if you're trying to trade a guy because I know you just don't want him, like come on, bro. Like you better take his bologna sandwich and Faygo pop and get on the fat here. Get on the fat here, man. And you said it came out that Wentz didn't want to go to Chicago, so they backed off everybody, and their mama knew he wanted to be in Indy with Frank. Good riddance. And see, he said right they knew they had to move on from him. And I would trade 2 Faygo, some Grippos, and 2 honey buns for Wentz. That's about right, bro.
That's why Chicago never made a real deal because they
absolutely
was like,
Chicago.
If he don't want to come here, why would I give up? Why would I trade one of my quarterbacks that I got and 2 first-round picks for somebody that don't even want to come here? Absolutely. Then I got to deal with him moping in the locker room and all this other bull.
And he's not that good. Come on, he's not that good.
Deshaun Watson, hey, I'm opening up the locker. Whatever you want.
What you want.
Whoever you want.
Blank track.
See what they said about Russell Wilson today? They said they're asking because I guess they're like Russell Wilson is unhappy. They can't guarantee they can protect him. So they said they just threw a metaphorical, price out there, and they said they feel like he's at least worth 3 first-round picks. That's what I saw that today. So
I don't know if they would get 3 first rounds for him, but he's definitely
2. They could probably get 2.
For sure, easy.
Yeah,
because didn't Stafford just go for 2 first rounds?
Yeah.
So if Stafford goes for 2 first rounds, Deshaun Watson's definitely going for 3.
That's why Wentz thought he was worth 2 first rounds.
That's what they thought for Wentz. Yeah, they thought that.
Matthew Stafford. Get out of here,
if Matthew Stafford's going for 2 first rounds, Russell Wilson is going for 3, and Deshaun Watson's going for 4, just because he's younger.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Man, then see, Andrew said, tell him who told you Russell was not happy 2 months before it came out to Daniel. Don't front me.
I don't know. I saw one of them guys on Twitter.
Oh man! So quick hitters before we end the show. Dame Lillard. Most people have him 3rd in the MVP voting right now, but he got snubbed as an All-Star starter in the All-Star game. They will announce the rest of the reserves, which I'm sure he'll make the reserves tomorrow. Announce the squad. So, 2-part question, guys. 1, what is your thoughts on Dame Lillard being snubbed? And 2, does the voting process for the starters need to change? Ralph, go ahead.
I feel like Dame gets snubbed all the time when it comes to being one of the most underrated point guards or players, period, in the league, man. I definitely think he should be a starter. You look at, I think Portland's 4th in the West right now, without CJ, without Nurkic.
Let me go look real quick while you're talking.
They're like 4th or 5th. So I mean, look at Dame's roster. He does not have much, man. I mean, you go from him. Who's the 2 guard? Who's the 3? I mean, he got Melo, but Melo's coming off the bench. So I mean, he doesn't have much that he's working with, and he still has Portland top in the West. But as far as the
right now,
yeah. So, oh no, Dame deserves way more respect than he gets. But as far as the All-Star voting, the process, I mean, something has to change. I feel like every year we're having the same conversation about somebody that's killing it, but for some reason they get snubbed off the list. Because of like popularity or whatever the issue may be. So, I don't know. I don't know what the change would be, but something has to change.
Real quick, to me, first of all, he shouldn't have been. I know Luka came out and said that he might give his starting spot to Dame, which is dope. He should do that, but
it's
because
not the same though.
It's definitely not the same. But the Mavs are sitting in 10th right now versus the Trailblazers.
Absolutely.
So, and I get it. Like the All-Star game is for the fans, so they should have some say so in who is the starter because
very little.
These are the 10 guys that they want to see the most. But like you said, Ralph, it shouldn't have that much impact in who starts. It should play a factor, but it shouldn't be the final nail in the coffin of, okay, the fans wanted, they voted 5 million to Dame's 3 million, so we're gonna go with Luke. Like it shouldn't be the end all be all for the all-star votes for the fans. Like I get it, it's for the fans, but at the same time, it's got to be some kind of realistic voting process to it as well. And Andrew said, hold on, he said Luka got the international vote. Like, yeah, that's a great point too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's see here. Who is this down here? He said, I think, hold on, I'm pull it back up. He said, I think voting should be for who gets in and coaches or captains should pick the starters.
Absolutely.
That's something to be, I like that idea. I'm gonna run that by Adam Silver. But anyways, Daniel, man, what's your thoughts on Dame being snubbed and how can we change this raggedy voting process?
I mean, Dame's balling, like you said, and Luka even said he's played better than me to this point. It's just only so many spots. It's not like you can start. I mean, you can have 8 guys all averaging 27 plus, but I can only start 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like, then I still got to have a power forward in the center. So, and then you got to factor in the fans. I mean, some people are fans, like people that played sports, actually know basketball a little bit, Then you got fans that just. So, I mean, now everybody's got a smartphone. I could be a 12-year-old and I watch Luka Doncic play and I just go on there real quick and vote for Luka Doncic. So, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, a vote is a vote. I mean, you can't really, you don't know who's voting. It's just like when you go vote for the president, you don't know who all's voting. You can, somebody can't even read me 3 sentences, but he can go vote. You know what I mean? So I don't think they can. I don't think they can fix it. I just don't think they can fix it because the All-Star game is for the fans. It's the #1 NBA fan interaction. Dame got snubbed, but then again, I mean, my guy. I'm glad he didn't get snubbed this year, but my guy averaged 29 points last year, and Bradley Beal. He didn't even make the team. So I mean,
absolutely.
At least Dame he's gonna be in. He's gonna be a reserve at least.
And that's crazy that Bradley Beal had to average 40 points a game to get in the All-Star game, man.
Right.
I mean,
like, for real.
Andrew said a good point. Just lessen the percentage of fan vote counts and let the players and coaches have more say. I think they should do it like 45 players, 45 coaches, 10% fans, and there it is. That's how you get it because it's just absurd. Like you said, Bradley Beal didn't make the All-Star game, period, last year and was averaging, 29, I think? You said 29 right there? Yeah, 29, and it didn't make the All-Star game.
But Devin Booker made it averaging 27 in the West. So, I mean.
It's just like popularity,
I don't know.
It is. I mean, man, the NBA, we got fixes. But anyways, everybody, we appreciate y'all tuning in for another great show, Beyond the Game. You can always catch previous episodes on the YouTube channel, KY Beyond the Game. If you can't sit down and watch on YouTube, you can always listen to it on all major podcast streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Store, and a host of others. Dan, you want to say something before we get on up out of here, man?
I mean, my Duke Blue Devils is playing right now. We got a big win versus Virginia, so
Hey, that was a
Louisville,
tough
I can't
game,
believe
man.
y'all got beat by 50, man. That's crazy. Shout out Kobe.
Shout out Kobe, man. Rest in peace, man.
I can't. That was a beautiful win this weekend. But I mean, it was cool. I mean, Louisville was crap anyway, so I mean, it is what it is. But if you got something you want to say before we get on up out of here?
Oh man, shoot. Just keep watching, man. We moving up in the world.
Oh yeah, for those who are tuned in, Beyond the Game will now double as, like I said in the promo, a radio show, podcast, and then it will be a TV show. Air dates to be determined. I'm waiting to see what dates that we will start airing, but it will more than likely be on Tuesday mornings. If you're in select cities like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Nashville, Louisville, Columbus, you'll be able to check us out on local TV.
Talk.
Fire Stick or Roku. You could just, hit that thing and be like, okay, it's my guys right there, and check us out.
Talk.
Yeah, 800 homes, 86 million subscribers on, Fire Stick and Roku. So, a little bit of a little razzle dazzle,
Small talk.
When you put your Undisputed on and your First Take on, put the pip on your TV and go ahead and throw on. Wrong beyond the gang with them. Yeah.
Come on, man. Talk and talk. But yeah, we appreciate everybody who has supported us so far, man. Guys like Andrew, Andrew, man. Look, before we get out of Andrew, stop tagging me and shit. All right, we done. All right, my guy. But we get ready to get on up out of here. Everybody, thank you for the love and support. Want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. We out of here, y'all. Peace.